Let me get the back-end stuff going on, and we'll go from there. Well, welcome everybody to the next installment of the Maximum Performance webinar series. This series is something that we here at Maximum Acceleration started back in October of 2012. And the whole intent and purpose of this series was to bring together a community of learning for mortgage and real estate professionals to provide high-caliber content and training that's going to help you accelerate your business and grow your performance. And so the program we've enjoyed, we've now done well over 150 episodes over the last 2 and almost 3 years going on now that we've been running the series. And today's program is one that I'm very excited to bring together. Nick and I have worked together for years, and he's been a frequent guest speaker on some of our live events that we do as part of our group and one-on-one coaching and training work together. And I've been trying to get him on the series for months. We finally made it happen where we could get him on here and share. And the topic of today's program is really what we talk about, mastering the art of referrals. You know, the biggest challenge we have in the mortgage business and in the real estate business is a lot of times we have a tendency to assume that if we just work hard and we do things right, we provide good service, that that's going to lead to repeat and referral business. Well, it does sometimes, but it doesn't happen near as often as we would like it to do it organically. And so one of the things that we look at and we think about as coaches and trainers is how do we help you really maximize the amount of connection and value you create for your clients so that you are able to actively find those additional service opportunities that exist. I mean, because if you really want to think about it, when it comes to getting a referral, I mean, let's think about for just a minute, why do we not ask for referrals? I mean, I think all of us could agree that referrals are some of our best leads, and yet we don't often enough ask for them. Well, I think part of the challenge is a lot of us don't, and I know I didn't used to ask for referrals as often as I probably could have, because it felt kind of sleazy or salesy or selfish, and because it always felt disingenuous to be asking my current customer to introduce me to other customers, because it felt kind of sleazy and solicitous. Well, one of the challenges I realized is a couple of years ago, I realized that if I change my thinking and I focus on the needs that I provide and that I serve, then I can find a lead. So one of the things to think about when it comes to maximizing your repeat and referral business is who needs you? I mean, why is it that as a mortgage or real estate professional, we have an opportunity to serve? Where does that get created? Well, it's usually when people need to change their housing situation, right? You know, when the home they're in no longer is a good fit for the needs of the family. And so, think about it from this perspective. Does anybody really like to move? I mean, Nick, when was the last time you moved?
About 7 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, is that a fun experience, you know, put your entire life in a box and live that way for months on end? So why do people move, right? I mean, my personal opinion on it is that people only move when the pain of staying in their current home is more than the pain of moving, which means that people move relatively infrequently. However, we also know that people do move because if you think about what changes in the life of the family, the needs for the family's home change over time. So like the young couple that were dual income, no kids, and bought a small condo just, you know, in their early years of marriage, and then 4 or 5 or 6 years later they've got 2 or 3 children and the home they're in no longer meets the needs of that growing family. Or the person who has to change jobs and move across the area or across the country in some cases for job and career advancement, or you know, people who have to you know, change because of just change in the dynamic of the family. You know, the empty nester, for example, who you know, they had this big home that they raised their kids in, but it's a lot of work, and when they're getting older and their knees are wearing out, it's hard to go up and down the stairs 20 times a day, and they'd just rather move to something more luxurious, more smaller, and more lifestyle-oriented for the baby boomer or empty nesters. Well, when we find those needs, we find those opportunities to provide value and service to a family. So one of the things that I know Nick is going to share with you and I want to introduce you to is over the next few minutes as Nick kind of goes through his program and ideas and suggestions on how to think about how you earn referrals, where you create the opportunities on purpose to provide value to a family that earn you the right to ask for additional opportunities and service introductions. With that, Nick, I'm going to let you kind of take over here, jump in, and share the wonderful things that I know you've got to share with our audience today about how to master the art of referrals.
Great. Thanks, Eric. Thanks again, guys, for being on, and gals as well. Very excited to share with you guys today. First, I just want to acknowledge you for being on the call, taking a half hour or an hour out of your busy schedule to be with us and, learn different ideas and strategies on how you can grow your business. Just want to simply acknowledge you for that. And those of you that probably be a couple people that are familiar with our brand or my company, just a little background on myself. I've actually been in my business for about 8 years or so, but about 11 years ago, I interned with a company called Cutco Cutlery, and it was a summer job. This summer, in where I'm from in St. Louis, we'll probably recruit about 500 college students in our office, more of an intern part-time opportunity. And 11 years ago, that's what I was doing. I was going, working through referrals only, going to people's homes, demonstrating Cutco products to customers, and getting their business. And by the time I had graduated college, I had about 1,400 clients, all through referrals, and decided, hey, I'm just going to, stick with this and make a career out of it. And then about 8 years ago now, we started Cutco Closing Gifts. We launched that division of the Cutco company, and then we've really been going gangbusters ever since. We serve about 20,000 realtors all across the U.S., about 5,000 mortgage loan officers all across the U.S. as well. I have personally served, last time I checked, was 1,150 real estate agents, 75 mortgage lenders, and then about 100 or so just miscellaneous businesses, anywhere from a local roofer to Fortune 500 companies. So, and all of that business, every now and then, I probably made 10 cold calls in my life, but all of that has been done through referrals. So I was thinking last night, well, how many referrals have I actually received? And we're talking probably 4,000 or 5,000, maybe even up to 6,000 referrals in my career. So hopefully that will, allow me the opportunity to share some thoughts with you guys today. I'm going to share some new thoughts, hopefully, some things that you may have never heard of. Hey, that's a great idea. I'll probably share a lot of thoughts like, hey, I've heard of that. Yeah, I need to start implementing that. And then I might share some thoughts that will just kind of, reaffirm what you're doing. But my big goal today, I was thinking, well, what is my, big thing for everybody on this call? My big thing is just for everybody in this call to get 3 within the next 90 days. I know that's a, pretty significant number, but I really think that's doable. Really just 3 different strategies, I guess, more than the actual closed business, because our goal is to not just get one referral, but it's really to establish an entire pipeline of referrals. So I'm excited to share with you a lot of these ideas and strategies that I've learned from people, created on my own, and really just going to dive in with you guys here. So thanks again, and I'm just going to kind of stick and move through this, and we'll go from there. But Eric, there we go. All right, cool. So first thing, when you look at where referrals come from, I was meeting with some financial advisors last week. Pretty successful, both as a partner. 2 guys been partners in the business for about 15 years. One guy been in the business for 21 years, another guy for about 18 years. And they came in and they said, hey, we want to get an entirely new book of business. Our clients, they don't give us referrals. I'm like, okay. But the thing that I really encourage with them, and I really want to encourage everyone on this call, I'm assuming most of the people have been in the business for a good amount of time. There's not a lot of people that are, getting into the mortgage business these days. There might be a couple new people, so these strategies will apply to this as well. But there's going to be a significant, massive opportunity for you to grow your business through your existing network and people that you know. I'm going to give a couple of book recommendations on this call, but one that I really got the Gold Group concept, which I'll share with you here, is from The Ultimate Sales Machine. by Chet Holmes. Sorry, Chet Holmes wrote a book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. It is probably one of the best sales books out there. I highly recommend that you check that out. But who are your top clients? So a lot of people, they have this big database, and one of the people that is really an expert in this is Brad Korn, that I know Erik does a lot of work with. It's just, he just massively milks his database, or whatever you want to call it. He combs through his database with a fine comb, he grades his database, and he gets a significant amount of business through his database. And the biggest key, the one thing I want to encourage you with your top clients, because you all probably have them, you could probably put them in a spreadsheet, I would hope that in a quick period of time, but sit down and just identify that top 20%. Okay, I'm actually listening to an audiobook right now by Perry Marshall. He's the expert in the 80-20 rule. And that is Pareto's principle, as you guys probably may or may not have heard of it. And I think all of us understand the concept, but basically, what it says is that 80% of your revenue, doesn't matter what business you're in, 80% of your revenue is going to come from 20% of your activities. So if you apply this to this slide right here, 80% of your volume is going to come from 20% of your clients. 80% of your volume is going to come from 20% of your referral sources and your strategic partners, as I like to call them. So really think about who is in that gold group, that top 20%. In my business, it's literally 90-10. So about 90% of our revenue comes from 10% of the events that we speak at and 10% of our clients. So I really just want to, challenge you to, make a list of, who your top clients are, and, figure out, come up with a communication plan around that, which I'll get into in just a little bit. So who's in that gold group? Just by what I found is the coolest thing about this, just by identifying, Erik, I just got a notification that says that I have a slow connection, so just let me know if you want me to stop sharing my webinar. So identify who your clients are. Just by knowing who your key players are, it's a game changer for your business. So just know who they are. Figure it out. You might know this. You might have done this exercise last week. You might have done this exercise 3 months ago. You might have never done this exercise, but it's as simple as like, hey, who are my clients? Who are my referral sources? And put them on a list and know who they are. And, those are where your core business is going to come from. Trying to click this through the slide here. I don't know why it's not working. Can you hear me okay? There we go.
We can hear you just fine, Nick. Keep in mind your audio is disconnected from the video, so your audio is sounding great, even if the webcam lags just a little bit.
Yes, okay, cool. So just let me know. I know I found sometimes that the webcam is distracting, but fortunately the way that you set this up, it's all pretty, and I'm sure everybody will be good. So here's a big question. Who are your strategic partners? Who are your referral sources? We're going to get into a little bit later, really at the end, just more of the strategy in terms of different ways you can get more business. Or I like what Erik said at one of the slides right before we started. Like, these are the people that you want to earn business from. It's not a take thing. There's a book called Give and Take that's been very popular. I forget the author, but it's all about, giving. And you really want to, when a lot of people go out and they meet these people, they'll talk about the great rates, and the, financial advisor, like, hey, we can save that money, we refinance, and then you could, invest those extra assets that they have. And that's all fine and dandy, but really it's all about giving. Giver's gain. It's a BNI philosophy. It's a life principle. Another book recommendation I'll give you is The Go Giver. Very short, easy read. But if you're finding challenges in your business, just really figure out, well, how can I contribute? So there's a good rule of thumb, and that's that if you want to receive, say my goal this month is to receive 10 referrals, and that is, so please, feel free to refer us. If my goal though is to receive 10 referrals, I need to look to give 20 referrals. So if you want to receive, 10 referrals a month, or maybe, some of my clients establish pipelines just with these key strategic partners, and they're able to bring in, 50 referrals a month. And I've just this one strategy here, just by, hey, I'm going to pick 5 key referral sources, and I'm going to take care of them, and they're going to take care of me, it will set up a pipeline of business that you wouldn't have even thought was possible. So who are your strategic partners? I think you guys have all seen this, so I'll just kind of touch on a couple. Realtors are great. I know a lot of guys probably don't like working with realtors, but you got to love them, and you got to know that they can send you business. My top two, I think, would be realtors and financial advisors. Financial advisors are, if I were originating loans, I would actively be working with at least one financial advisor. Some people have different philosophies on, hey, do you have one key referral source or do you have three? I'll let you guys decide that, but think about the people in your network right now, the estate planning attorneys, the CPAs. By the way, the CPAs is a huge missed opportunity with a lot of folks. They carry a lot of influence, they know a lot of people, and they can send you business. Divorce attorneys are fantastic. You know, the average case from a divorce attorney will result in 3 referrals. So, you know, get to know your divorce attorneys. One tip I'll share with you in terms of different ways. Well, if you don't know any divorce attorneys, one of my clients been originating for a long time, does a decent amount of business, but he simply posted on Facebook, said, hey, I'm looking for a divorce attorney to refer business to. Who do you know is a divorce attorney? He received like 5 referrals of divorce attorneys that he was then able to reach out to. So they're a little harder to network with because they have one focus, right? But when you can approach them with that giving philosophy, say, hey, I can help your clients with what probably one of their biggest assets that they own when they go through this change, that divorce attorney is going to recommend and refer your services. So your best clients, kind of like I've talked about before, a lot of times our best clients are our best referral sources, different organizations that you're involved with. So there's actually a stat. I was going to share this later, but I'll share it now since I'm thinking about it. They say that 12.5% of Americans will move every single year. So what does that mean for you as a, you know, if you look at an organization or a charity, so say your church, okay, say your Chamber of Commerce, whatever. You have an organization that has 100 people in it. On average, there's going to be 24 real estate transactions, 25 real estate transactions that will happen that year within that organization. So are you known as the mortgage lender for that association or organization or church, or does nobody know? So quick story, I was talking with a lady that runs business development for a pretty large mortgage company here in town. And she was at an event, and one of the originators in her company it was like literally like a kids baseball team or a church event. I don't remember exactly what it was, but she was at an event, and somebody said to her, hey, you know, what are you doing now? Oh, you know, I'm helping this company with the mortgage business. And she's like, oh, yeah, you know, we're actually looking to refinance and potentially move in the next 90 days. You know, who do you know is a good lender? Can you help me out with that? She's like, yeah, don't you know John? John has been going on this the client or prospect he was going to the kids' baseball games and team events, all these outings with this particular family for like 5 years. And this lady didn't even know that he was a mortgage loan officer. So talk about a missed opportunity. So I share that with you. There's a huge area of opportunities with where you're spending your time, whether you're spending your time serving, giving back, or out networking. When you're at these organizations, make sure that you are known as the mortgage lender, because on average, organization of 100 people, company with 100 people, you know, you're going to have about 24 real estate transactions. So one that's not on this list that is huge is an HR director for a company. You know, small business in your area, 25, 50 employees. You know, typically anybody that has more than 50 employees, there's going to be some real estate business to be had in that particular market. So hopefully got some value out of that piece there. And I apologize for the delay. I'm not sure why it takes so long to switch the slide. There we go. So now that you've hopefully had a pulse on, hey, who are these people? Who are some different people that I can now be reaching out to? Maybe you're like, you know what, I don't have a divorce attorney. Or, you know what, that financial advisor that I met with, 4 times in the past year hasn't sent me one piece of business. Look for another financial advisor to send business to. But how do you make positive impressions? deposits and impressions in these people's lives. So that's what I found is to be very important, is to, again, not be like, hey, I'm an originator, we have great rates. It's how can I help you? Okay, always remember that. And these are in order, in my opinion, of highly leveraged activities or highly, if you look at your time and dollar return on your investment or whatever you want to call it, these are by far the most effective ways to communicate with people. So the first thing is different events and seminars. So are you going to events currently that you should be inviting your CPA to, or your real estate connections to, or your financial advisor to? Think about where you've been in the past 4 months, and think about, how you can, who you can invite to these particular events. Face-to-face meetings, there's nothing besides events and seminars that is probably more impactful than just a face-to-face, eyeball-to-eyeball. Get to know you. How can I help you? What's your biggest challenge right now? What have you tried so far? How can I help? I'm going to repeat that because that's a whole slide in itself, which I don't have in my slides. But anytime you meet with these people, you ask them, what's your biggest challenge right now? What have you tried so far? And how can I help? That leading off any meeting with that just will open your eyes as to really what their true challenges are and how you might be able to help. And it helps people really, you get to understand people's business. So face-to-face meetings, if you literally just set up a face-to-face meeting with 5 people that were on that previous slide and you ask them those questions, you would get referrals out of it just from that alone. Okay, then you've got your phone calls. So, a lot of people will talk about a marketing plan and communication plan. I'm not going to get into that too much right now, but you really want to have your database graded. You want to have your key referral sources, know who they are, and you want to have a plan to stay in front of them and stay top of mind. They actually say that the average person actually forgets their salesperson every 16 days. So I don't even know what the number is, but the average financial advisor is going to forget about a referral source every 5 days probably, because you're not actually a client of them. So it's really important to just stay top of mind with those folks. What I found a good strategy, if you have 20 to 30 is really the max, in my opinion, in terms of referral sources that you're working with and building relationships with. If you have 20 referral sources and you're meeting with them once a quarter, that's 80 meetings a year right there. And that's going to bring you a significant amount of business. But a good way to capture more of those people, so what I do in my business is I just reach out. Usually my referral sources, they're going to hear from me at least once a month. I'm just going to call them and say, hey, how can I help you? How are things going? For you to know that we might be able to help with their client or referral guests. As simple as that. A really good script. I think I got this from Michael Mayer, and you might actually, some of these things are from the 7 levels of communication. They have the pyramid. Great book. Michael Mayer, I think, was actually on one of your calls a couple months ago. I think I saw an email on that. I wanted to be on, but unfortunately I wasn't. The script. All you say is, hey, I was just thinking of you the other day. Wondering if we can get together, see how we can, help each other out. Just call. You don't know what to say? Hey, I was just thinking of you. That's it. Everything else will fall into place. So I use that with emails, reaching out to clients, whatever. Hey, just thinking of you last week. Whatever. The rest is history. So keep it simple. I was just thinking of you. Handwritten notes, by far one of the most powerful things to do that very, very few people do. I was speaking to a group of financial advisors about 3 months ago, and a lady writes 100 handwritten notes a month. And that's powerful. It's effective. It works. People don't get handwritten notes. So, get out some stationery and start writing notes to people. Just show them that you care about them, and it works great. Sending gifts. So that's our business, obviously, but we have found that it is one of the most impactful things that you can do to create a lasting impression, but also to get people to pick up your phone call. So one of my clients, he actually sent gifts to 10 people and received 6 phone calls from the gifts. And these are prospects that he didn't even know. So, sending gifts, getting creative with it, really helps. Electronic communication, so emails, blogs, that type of thing. Then you've got your direct mail. I think 4 different mortgage lenders send me stuff every month. It's great. It's effective, not the highest leverage, but, if you like that, great. Advertising, that's great too. But typically I always talk about and teach and focus on the high leverage activities. So again, I apologize for Eric. I don't know if you mind just switching the slide.
You're good.
So different ways that you can add value and show appreciation, and I intentionally lumped all these slides as like one slide versus having it kind of be revolving, so you could kind of jot notes down and stuff like that. And we can probably email this out if that's something that Eric does normally. But different ways you can really add value, because that is really what we're all about. Is how do you appreciate your key stakeholders? So any company, any salespeople, any salesperson, they have their key stakeholders, whether it be their clients, their referral sources, their shareholders, their employees, whoever it is. And this is a list that I've actually come up with, is just 16 different ways you can add value. So, if you've got your, different key referral sources, well, how can you add value? The clients that I had, or prospects that I met with last week, that hopefully will become a client, they're financial advisors, they said, hey, our clients don't send us business, or, they don't refer. Well, hey, just try one of these things. Try 5 of these things over the next 5 months with them and just see what happens. So when was the last time you just said thank you? Thank you so much for your business. It just, I've got a slide later on perceived indifference, but just thank them. Give them a referral. That's it. I mentioned that number before. If you want to grow your business by referrals, come up with your number. Hey, I just want to receive 2 referrals every month. Hey, just give 4 referrals every month. That's it. See what happens. The numbers don't lie. It's really interesting. I know a couple of organizations that teach on referral generation. BNI has a referral institute. Michael Mayer's, his company and organization talks a lot about it. The numbers truly don't lie. If you give 100 referrals, you're going to receive 50 referrals. If you give 0 referrals, there's a good chance you might not receive any referrals. So just think about that. How can you help them grow their business? A lot of you guys, if you've been in the business a while, you have a certain skill set and expertise that you can probably help a lot of people. Real estate agents, great thing. How can you help them grow their business? What can you do to differentiate yourself to, be known and be referable to that real estate agent? Because you know that every realtor is getting bombarded by other lenders, and you just got to find something that's going to differentiate yourself, and helping them grow their business is a big one. Donate, causes, spend time serving. Post and comment on their social media posts. Social media is still mind-boggling to me how I can, put a picture of my daughter on Facebook and it has 100 likes and 5 comments within a day. Like, you can't email out a picture of your daughter and say, hey, here's what I did on Sunday. But just, utilize social media. Don't use it as a time waster, but be intentional about it. So one of the things, instead of just liking on things, like if you have your realtor clients that you're following, or, realtors out of all those professions are by far on Facebook more than any other one, comment on their posts. All it does is it shows you care. You're their friend then. Invite them to an event. So like this Thursday, we've got Michael Mayer coming into St. Louis, Generosity Generation. I'll have every single one of my referral sources there. I will have a lot of clients there, and that event is a high-leverage, high-impact activity. But there's other things, you go to a ball game, or, I put the opera in there because financial advisors, I don't even know why opera's in there. But anyway, seminars, different meetings, where are you going in the next 3 months that you can invite somebody? Display their literature in your office. Share that literature with your clients. You guys are in a key position because your clients, they're sharing their tax returns. They're sharing all this information. If you can just have a system in place to introduce 5 people, insurance agent, financial advisor, estate planning attorney, and CPA throughout your process, it's a game changer. It really is. So seek out their advice, everybody. Love giving advice. Volunteer. Spend some time serving. Sponsor an event. Nominate them for awards, service positions. Give them quality introductions. Become a client of them. How many of your people do you have that are your clients that you don't send their business? Maybe your clients, they own a car repair business, and you take your car somewhere else because it's a little more convenient. Well, if they're a client, start, giving them your business. Educate, speak. A lot of especially with the way things are, you guys probably have great material that you could share with a real estate agent, or with a real estate office, or with a financial advising practice. A lot of different opportunities there. Give them a testimonial. If you're on social media a lot, endorse and testimonial everybody on LinkedIn. Post a testimonial on Facebook. give them gifts that they're actually going to use. Eric, if you don't mind clicking the slide over again, please. And again, I apologize. I'm not sure why I can't do that. But one of the things is really our specialty, and I've got just, I think, 2 more slides, and we'll get into some question and answer here. But branding, client retention, it's a lot of people know it, but I'm going to share some stats, and hopefully it'll jog some thoughts with you. So only 14% of people know the name of their mortgage lender. I mentioned earlier that the average person, your average client, is going to forget you after 16 days. So what are you doing to effectively brand your business? What are you doing to stay top of mind in front of your clients? Super important to have just a solid branding, solid client retention strategy in place. So I really like Patricia Frippe. She has, you may or may not have heard, she is like one of the experts in client retention. And this quote, ever since I've heard it, I've shared it with everybody because it really, really makes sense. It's perfect. It's not your customer's job to remember you. It is your duty. It's your obligation to make sure they never forget you. So just remember that. People are going to forget you. They go through life. You know, there's other priorities. But as long as you stay memorable and stay top of mind, and they know you, they like you, and they trust you, you're going to get some type of business from them in the future. Eric, sorry, again, one more slide here, I believe. And then I know Eric, well, we'll talk about this in just a second here. Branding and client retention. So why else do you, why else do you lose clients? So 4% natural attrition, 5% referred to a competitor, which that sucks, obviously. 9% for competitive reasons, you know, better rates or whatever. 14% because of just they're not satisfied with the service, but 68% of your clients, the main reason people will leave you is because of perceived indifference. So what does that mean? You just don't show them that you care. You know, it doesn't. It's just it's fascinating in my mind that if you don't appreciate them, they're going to leave you. So it's as simple as writing a hand. Maybe here's a great easy system. Actually, it's not easy, but it's a great system. A handwritten note to go out to every single client after you close that deal. If they close the deal, closing day, the next day, next week, you write them a handwritten note, let them know how much it was. How much you enjoyed working with them. I actually have Michael Mayer has a great supporting material on what he calls a power note. You can probably Google it. Power Notes by Michael Mayer. The key is any note, talk about them. Don't say I, or just leave out I and just focus on them. Really lift them up and then put a little PS in there. PS, give me a shout when you get a minute. I want to chat with you about something that we're doing with our clients. And that PS hopefully generates a phone call, and then you can sit down, set up an appointment, and meet with them. So I know, Eric, I saw the slides. You had a couple, and I had one slide that the different different systems, post-closing, pre-closing, but go ahead.
Okay, just making sure I had my mute off. Once in a while that happens. What I had asked Nick to share with you is why to refer, and I'm going to share with you for just a couple of seconds, and I'm going to hand it back to Nick, and we'll do a quick Q&A here. But one of the things that we wanted to introduce you to is Nick has shared with you kind of why you need to be referring and talking about referrals and asking for referrals and giving service and value. But when you've given value, and you know, our friend Michael Mayer, who Nick has mentioned many times, a former Maximum Acceleration coach, now an international best-selling author and speaker, wrote a book called 7L, The Art of Communication, 7 Levels of Communication from Relationship to Referral. And one of the things that Michael talks about frequently is give generously and receive appreciatively. So he talks about how to have you should never have to ask for referrals. You should have referral conversations. And really what that comes down to is a couple of years ago, I wanted to shift from being on the taking side of the relationship to the giving side of the relationship. So I even stopped kind of referring to referrals as referrals and stopped teaching clients how to ask for referrals. I started teaching them how to search for service opportunities. And so as we start to have those conversations, one of the things you have to realize, though, is that at many points during the course of a normal transaction in real estate or mortgage, there are 5 or 6 key conversations you're going to have that are very positive by nature, like when the loan officer gives the client their initial pre-approval at the very beginning of the process. One of the things that you want to think about is how do you ask for referrals? So I'm going to ask you a question really quickly, and I'd like you all to just go ahead and chat into the Q&A. your answer to this question, but the question I want to ask you is, do you know the name of your best friend? Go ahead and chat in your answer for me if you would. Do you know the name of your best friend? Okay, well, I'm getting several yeses, and I apologize to the gentleman who said no, but I guess you have too many friends to be able to pick out who is his best friend. What it really comes down to is certain language patterns just trigger certain responses. We as human beings respond in very systematic and consistent ways. So one of the things you want to think about is whether you ask a who-based question or a do. When I asked you, do you know the name of your best friend, you all chatted back yes or no. Well, the reality of that is I only asked for a yes or no, right? So that's what I got. I got exactly what I asked for. If I wanted to know the name of your best friend, what should I have said, right? Who is your best friend, or what is your best friend's name, correct? So think about how that goes into the conversation of asking for referrals. When we've given great value and we've given advice and we've provided a high-caliber service to a customer and they are naturally appreciative, they're going to want to reciprocate on that value. So the next step is how to create an opportunity to stay and remain appropriate to that value so that we keep that top-of-mind awareness. Well, one of the things that we want to encourage them to do is to think about what we can do as real estate or mortgage professionals to encourage them to introduce us to other people they know who might likely be in a position to benefit. So one of the key things you have to think about in today's market, especially with housing affordability being at the high level that it is right now, and how much buying power as far as how much monthly payment to how much house people can get right now, we're dealing with some of the best housing affordability that we've seen literally in the last 70 years as far as the quality of home to the monthly payment comparison. And there's a whole lot of families out there, unfortunately, that are just completely unaware. In fact, the people that are most likely to benefit from the current housing opportunity are the people that are probably the least likely to be aware of it. You know, it's just the couple that works hard, pays their bills on time, keeps their head down, but they've been renting the same place for the last 5, 6 years or whatever. It's the family that bought a home 6 or 7 years ago that they've outgrown, that they haven't upgraded because they don't think they can afford to, or that they've heard that mortgage credit and availability, you know, requires perfect credit and 20% down, and they don't think they have enough equity because their property's underwater still a little bit, or those kind of misinformation things. So one of the key conversations we can have with our clients is at that moment where we're getting started early in the process, right up front when they're just thinking about the idea of buying a home and it's going to be top of mind for them for the next 60 to 90 days, right then we need to be talking to them about, you know, Mr. Customer, at the end of the day, there's an amazing opportunity from home affordability right now. Unfortunately, a lot of families are just completely unaware of how much buying power they really have. So we've kind of started this Home Opportunity Initiative program. We're just trying to get the word out as fast and as wide as we can to educate people on how much buying power they really have and help them decide if now is a good time to move forward with that opportunity or not. And we'd like to enlist your help in that mission if that's okay. So let me ask you something. Who do you know, for example, that has a stable job, works hard, but they've been renting the same place the last couple of years? Who do you know that's outgrown their current home and they would love to upgrade, but maybe they don't think they could afford to because they don't realize they have 25 to 30% more buying power in today's market? Who do you know that because of age, health, or lifestyle issues is in a home that's just really not appropriate to them anymore, and they would love the opportunity to right-size their home and move into a home that's more conducive to their lifestyle? You know, the empty nester couple that would love to travel more frequently and not have to worry about security and maintenance issues, et cetera, et cetera. So we can go through those conversations with a client. We can ask them who they know and tap into their network of people that they know. I mean, we know statistically that every family, and as Nick shared a few minutes ago, the average family is about 12 according to NAR statistics, about 12% of the population is likely to move in the next 12 months. So that's 1 or 2 out of 10, 2 to 3 out of 20, 4 to 5 out of 30. So every family we know, and we know sociologists have been telling us for decades that the average American knows and talks to at least 30 to 35 people on a weekly basis. It's your close circle of influence. It's the people that you care most about and you spend most of your time with. It's the people that attend the same church you do. It's the people that you work with and that you talk to every day. It's the people that are involved in the same charities that you are involved in or participate with. The people that you see at the grocery store 4 times a week that are always there, right? We always seem to bump into our neighbors in the grocery store more than we see them in our own neighborhood. It seems funny how that works. But what we're really talking about is how to tap into those folks that are a part of or connected to the customers that we're serving now. They all know 5 to 7 people that we could potentially ask them to introduce us to that have a need that we can provide service and value to. And Nick, you had some follow-up things. As you start to move through the course of the transaction, and as you start getting closer to the finish line, that closing, there's some other key things that you can do to really plant a solid foundation into maintaining that relationship well beyond that one transaction. So would you mind jumping in and sharing some of those thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing is to have a system. A lot of people will look for referrals from their clients and people they know, and there's a huge lost opportunity cost to establish a pipeline of referrals. How do you establish a pipeline? You have to have a system in place. I mean, that's the bottom line. So you have to have systems set up, and it can't just be off the cuff like, yeah, I probably should start doing that. Like, one of my big things I want to encourage you is to pick 3 things that you've learned about. I hopefully will maybe share 1 or 2 more here today. Just pick 3 things, and like, those are your action items over the next couple months. But just pick that one thing first, that one thing, that one system that you're going to implement, that one, particular client or prospect that you're going to reach out to that's going to set up that pipeline of referrals for you. And Eric, it is very, very doable. The best originators in the business. One of our clients, a friend of mine's client, he actually does 550 transactions a year. Matt Ellardine, he has the most impeccable systems you've ever seen to generate business. The business just multiplies. When you're doing it right, you know you're doing it right, and your business is multiplying. So every single deal, you're getting at least 2 more deals. And the effective systems pre-closing, Eric mentioned already, you have to plant the seeds. That's a big one. When you're going through that pre-approval process, there's some opportunities there. Post-closing. So we really, my one intention in this call was to give you guys a ton of value. My other intention, if you guys so choose, is to give you a couple of ideas in terms of client gifting and referral programs, because we found it to be incredibly impactful post-closing as an idea. So a lot of people will throw like a housewarming party. That's a lot of work, but maybe it's 10 to 14 days after closing. You have a system. This is the most effective thing that I've seen in the business to work, is 10 to 14 days after closing, you have a system to go out and you meet your clients. And you ask them for introductions to all those people. And we have scripts, and Eric and I both have scripts and training documents to support that type of system. But that's how you get a pipeline of referrals from your existing client base. You let them know at closing, hey, thanks so much for your business. But what I'm going to do is come out to your office once you get settled in, and we'll just sit down and talk, and I've got a gift for you. So that gift is that excuse or that reason to go out and reach out to them. A lot of people pick their best referral sources. Maybe it's anybody that sent you 3 referrals. You send them a gift. One of my clients sent a gift to a client that moved out of state. He received 18 referrals the next day. I mean, that's the power of, like, there's a book called Influence, Robert Cialdini. It says if you give somebody something, they're 10 times more likely to reciprocate. So, there's a lot of different ways that you can, generate more business. Figure out what your systems are. Pick 1 or 2, 3. I mean, don't go over the top with it. But have that system, that strategy in place. Everybody that sends me 3 referrals, I'm going to send them a handwritten thank you note. Well, maybe I actually take that back. I recommend 3 referrals, they get a gift. 1 referral, they receive a note or a phone call. Hey, thanks for the referral. Let them know how you help. Let them know how you help that person. Does anybody know the special prize for anybody that can? The #1 mistake that people that receive a referral make in our business today. What's the #1? If I send you a referral, what's the #1 mistake that you make that you're not going to get another referral from me? I don't know if I can see that.
Yeah, if you pull up
not
Q&A,
thanking
actually, there's a lot of people.
So perfect. You guys are sharp. I love it. So not saying thank you, but it's actually not even not saying thank you. It's not following up. So people say thank you, but they don't follow up because you get the referral, but then you don't follow up after you talked to that person or made that connection. You literally, each opportunity, hey, we pre-approved that person. I'll keep you in the loop, let you know how it goes. Hey, Cindy, she closed last week. Thanks so much for that introduction. Hey, there's like 3 different opportunities within that one opportunity, but it's not following up with the referral source. I give a lot of referrals. One of my best referral sources, he's probably sent me $20,000 in business in the past 16 months. My quote of the year, so if you don't have somebody doing custom clothing for you, I recommend it because they know everybody and their clients are high end. But anyway, he doesn't let me know how all the referrals I'm giving are going. So nothing against him, but he probably gets twice as many referrals from him if he just followed up to let me know. Hey, I met with David. He bought a shirt. Hey, this guy bought a suit. Hopefully you guys get the point there. So that's pretty much it in terms of what I wanted to cover. I did have a very special offer. So I was kind of thinking, like, well, what can I do for these guys? They took the time out. Well, let's take questions first, and I'll tell you about something special we're doing for you guys. So
be sure and stick around, guys. Go ahead and post your questions into the Q&A section of the website. Nick, there's a couple I'm gonna kind of kick to you. I'm not 100% sure if you can see the Q&A box. You can open it up if you want. It's a little hard to read on the control panel on the right-hand side, though. One of the questions asked by Betty was, can you elaborate on the rules regarding giving referral gifts?
Yeah. Great. That's a great question because nobody wants to get slapped by a fine from RESPA. So, there's still a gray area. My interpretation of the rule is that you can't thank John and Cindy Smith for the referral that they gave you to John and Cindy Johnson at 123 Wisconsin Street. So you can't say, hey, send me since you gave me the referral to John Smith, I'm going to give you a gift. The way that our clients really phrase it, one of the cool things which we'll talk about with this, what we're doing special, but one of the things that our program, it's an advertising expense, everything's branded, so it's an advertising expense and not a gift. So it's, hey, thanks for the cheerleading, thanks for going above and beyond and spreading the word about our business. You never mentioned that direct referral that was given. So that's the best way around it. In my opinion, other people might have different thoughts. I'd say talk to your CPA or your company about that. But really, it's not. Don't treat it as a gift. Treat it as like an advertising piece that you give out to your best referral sources. So hopefully that helps.
Exactly. Just to clarify, guys, RESPA basically says you can't give anything of value in exchange for a referral. That doesn't say that you can't give a thank you gift to a client who did business with you, and that is actually even something you could advertise. The other element of that is if you're going to do joint closing gifts, which I think is a great idea, a way of realtors and loan officers to partner is split the cost of it. And if you collaborate and share the gift that's being given, it's a great way of, one, cutting the price in half at the expense of it, but also then co-branding both you and that realtor partner as a team, building a joint integrated database of clients that you work with together. It's a great opportunity. Okay, another quick question. Nick, earlier in the program you mentioned 3 particular questions to ask when sitting down with a new potential strategic partner. If you could remind or just refresh what those 3 questions were.
Yeah, absolutely. So these questions, if I'm going to have any type of business conversation, I'm going to ask them, what's your biggest challenge right now? That's the main question. So if you want like short to the point, you want to get to know how you might be able to help somebody in a very short period of time, hey, what's your biggest challenge right now? The next question, though, is what have you tried so far? Like, because a lot of times they'll have challenges, and you don't want to just, hey, I've got a solution to that challenge. Hey, what have you tried so far? Let them talk through it. And then another thing is, how can I help? And there's a consultant, I think, that's famous for this, but then you just keep dragging them on. You say, well, I actually think there's a way that we can help you, but that's not really what you're all about. You're not a consultant to your clients. You're just looking to help them, right? So what's your biggest challenge right now? What have you tried so far, and how can I help?
Exactly. I think that's a great way to do it. Well, there's another quick question in here I want to get back to you. I'm going to circle back around with newer people to the business that don't have an existing database. Okay, so here's the thing. You all have relationships. You all had a previous life before mortgage or real estate if you're brand new to the business. How do you know, what did you do? Who did you serve? What was your primary source of contacts? You all have people in your life that you know that trust and respect you and that you trust and respect. Are there opportunities to connect with those folks, provide a value and service to them, and work with them to help them realize what you do and the services you provide and introduce that? It's no different than asking for a referral like I demonstrated with the Home Opportunity Initiative a few minutes ago. You could do the same thing. I mean, literally, I had a client a couple of weeks ago who picked up a new loan just by happened to be in a grocery line between a young lady who was obviously quite pregnant and was expecting a baby anytime, and they were 4 or 5 deep in the grocery line, and they struck up a conversation. The young lady was very sociable and outgoing, and he said, I don't know if you're interested, if, you know, with the new baby and everything, if you guys are thinking about making a change in your housing situation, I'd love to potentially offer the Home Opportunity Initiative or Home Opportunity Review to see what might work for you and your family. And she literally waited until he got done checking out to talk to him and set up an appointment for the following day to get pre-qualified. I mean, that's how obscure these opportunities can be. I mean, when you start talking and looking from a service perspective, how can I help somebody, you create those opportunities for yourself. And so just think about, you know, what are the relationships that you already have a connection to that are people within your sphere of influence that you can start introducing to folks that you know. Nick, you said you had a special offer you wanted to share. Do you want to run the video first, or do you want to go ahead and walk them through the offer that you wanted to talk to them today?
Yeah, let's run. It's a very short video. I think it's 2.5 minutes, and then there's an offer, the next slide there. One thing I will mention real quick, just to address that, and then I'm always available for questions and things like that. But look for the life-changing events there. I had a slide on this, touched on it very briefly, but if you're new, even if you're experienced, you want to train your referral sources to look for those life-changing events. So getting married, having a baby, changing jobs, retirement, divorce. Those are like the 5, key things that you really want to train your people to keep an eye out for, and just kind of be aware of. So, yeah, let's cue this video. I've got a huge promo. Like I said, I've been doing this for, been selling the closing gifts really for about 8 years now. And I haven't done a special this good in literally 6 years. So cue this video, I'll talk about what we're doing, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much.
Founders of Sharp Retention.
Independent distributors for Cutco Closing Gifts. You might be wondering, what are Cutco Closing Gifts? Well, they're knives, branded with your info as a closing gift. I know what you're thinking.
Why knives?
Well, why not? What do you give your clients?
Gift baskets are great.
Yeah, for like 10 seconds.
Wine is fun.
Wine's fun for a night and then gone.
Everybody loves gift cards.
Yeah, maybe for 1 or 2 purchases.
All right, well, what about a really nice plant for the house?
Yeah, plants are nice, but they're here today and dead tomorrow.
I got it. Puppies are awesome.
Well, puppies are awesome, and I love puppies, and I want to squeeze them and roll around with them and have them lay on me, but not as a closing gift.
Well, what's the solution?
Cutco.
Just like you, Cutco is sharp.
And they're mighty in America since 1949 and backed by our Forever Guarantee, which means your clients will see your name every single day for the rest of their lives.
Now that is
Najjar marketing.
So, Adam, what is the most used room in the house?
In my house, it's the bedroom. Because I'm a young guy and I need my sleep.
But in the kitchen. And because we have our red and white handles, your gift is a natural conversation piece right where friends and family hang out.
Also, our gifts are 100% tax deductible with advertising since your info is engraved right on the product itself. Stop shopping for presents for your clients and get a system in place.
It's easy. We'll ship your gifts right to you. You just grab a gift out of the box and off you go. Your clients eat every day, and every home has a kitchen, which makes Cutco the perfect fit for all your clients. We help you create the client retention long-term that you really want, which only means more money for you.
So how many gifts can you give to your clients that they'll use every single day, have for the rest of their lives, tax deductible, easy to give, and generate leads? The answer is one, my friends.
Cutco closing gifts.
Come get some.
All right, so thanks, guys, for that funny video that my friends put together. But Eric, if you don't mind switching over to that slide that we're doing. So different ways that you guys might be able to utilize our program would be as a referral gift, as a client gift, auction items, gifts for your key referral sources. But what we're going to do today, just because for the next 48 hours, basically, anybody that would just request a free strategy session, if you do end up signing up for a gift, we're actually going to give you free engraving. So it actually is about $15 per unit in terms of savings. So it's about a 15% discount right off the top, no matter how many gifts you order. So all you need to do, we have a quick strategy session. It's literally 5 to 10 minutes. Just, hey, how can we help you? Where are these gifts as a good fit? I have the 4 different ways you can generate a referral by giving Cutco that I can share with you, and then a lot of different support materials. Our goal at this point is really just help our clients get more referrals, and that's what we're all about. And we're going to help you retain your clients. So the best thing to do if you're interested in this special that we have, just right now in the Q&A section, just put your email address in there, and we can follow up with you, get a call scheduled, and see if our program might be a good fit for you and your business. We do have some other products outside of the Cutco product line we've actively been adding. So one of them I'll just share this with you because I've been using it in this hot summer heat. It's made by a company called Corsicle. It's kind of hard to see because of the lighting in here. But it's called Winnebago. And what it'll do is it'll keep water line cold for 25 hours. It'll keep coffee or tea hot for 12 hours. We're selling a ton of them just because of the time of year. And it's just a fantastic gift. Great for wine, water, coffee, whatever. If your clients drink beverages, they're going to use this probably, or somebody in their family has every single day. So you can contact us on our website. I'm easy to find, mycompanygifts.com. Nick, N-I-C-K, at mycompanygifts.com. But the best thing right now to take advantage of the free engraving special that we have right now is just simply post in the Q&A. Just put your email address in there. We can get a time scheduled or just send you more info on our program if you're just looking for more info. That's totally cool too. So I want to respect your guys' time. Boom, 12 o'clock the end, done. No, just kidding. But I'll be around for 5-10 minutes if anybody has any more questions. Thank you guys again for taking the time out. Email me with questions and take it away, sir.
Obviously, thank you, Nick, for joining us today with the program. I'm going to be hanging out. We're going to be hanging out for a few minutes. We actually I did have a few more things we could introduce the folks to if you want to, as far as maximizing the referrals multiple times during the transaction. My personal opinion on this, guys, many of our coaching clients have implemented this system. They are getting great results with it as far as repeat and referral business. It's a great door opener with potential business partners like realtors, financial planners, CPAs, and insurance agents as well. When it comes to the opportunity, there's a couple of key things that I recommend you do from a systematic perspective. One, go ahead and get registered for that strategy session. Go ahead and post the best phone number and email address into the Q&A platform right now so that Nick and his team can follow up with scheduling a quick setup strategy session with you all to get you to take advantage of the free engraving offer, which is an awesome deal. Secondly is look at the opportunity to co-brand with some of your best business partners. You already have people that you're working with already, or some people that you want to approach with this concept or idea. Work with them to understand the value of, look, if you brand on your information on one side of the knife and their information on the other side of the knife, then you can split the cost in half and be totally RESPA compliant. The second thing that we encourage you to do is that we encourage you to pre-order 3 or 4 or 5 sets at a time. And if you expect to be doing 2 or 3 deals a month with that partner, you want to have a stock of these in place on hand so that when you're running out the door to get to the closing, you can just grab the box off your bookshelf and take it with you so that you can give it to your clients as a closing gift. I mean, like I said, as you saw in the video, there are very, very few things that get used as frequently or will last as long as something like these knives. And if you're not familiar with the quality of the brand of Cutco, they literally are the Rolls-Royce of the cutlery industry. I've had a set since I was in high school that was given to me by my grandfather. They were built in the 50s or 60s, and they're still every bit as good and every bit as sharp and every bit as reliable as the original, as when they came out of the box originally. By the way, Nick also has a program that they do where their team will go out and actually sharpen the knives for your customers if you're in the local area. And Nick, I don't know if you're still around, if you could maybe explain a little bit more about that. That's one of those key areas where you can start to look for additional service opportunities, where you can start to expand how to stay top of mind with those clients so that you have that opportunity to interact with them on a much more regular basis. And these are some great ways where you can expand that network and begin to connect with the 1 or 2 people who refer you to 4 who go to 8 and 16 and 32, and it literally explodes exponentially from there, because that's what this is really all about. Now, for those of you who are hanging around, if you have a few minutes and would like to ask some additional questions of myself and Nick, I'm going to be around for about another 10 to 15 minutes if you want to go ahead and post those in Q&A. There are a few of you who did post that you had some questions about what Maximum Acceleration is and what we do. We are a coaching, training, and business development company. Our focus is on how to get you from where you are to where you want to be as fast as humanly possible. If you'd like more information, we offer 3 different levels of service. We have our virtual home study coaching programs. We have a group on-site coaching program. Group or on-site coaching programs, I should clarify. We offer a group webinar-based coaching program for a team of loan officers, like, for example, if you've got a branch or a group of realtors in an office who want to go in together and diffuse the cost a little bit and come online as a group. We have a group coaching program called a Critical Mass, or we also do on-site events called our Maximum Growth Summit event, or we're, myself and the coaching team are available to come out and speak at events. You've got like the corporate sales rally or something like that you're looking for a good speaker at, we offer that as well. But our premier service, 80% of what we do is one-on-one individual personalized coaching for mortgage and real estate professionals. If you're interested in finding out more about that, the best way we've found over the years to help you understand the true value of coaching is to experience it, because in a one-on-one program, we can tailor the program to the specific needs of each individual client. So it's a pretty nuanced thing. It's a little bit difficult to describe in a short number of words exactly what it is that we do, because it's so different for every individual client. If you're interested in finding out more about the coaching program, we offer a no-cost, no-obligation strategy session with one of our coaches about the coaching. If you're interested in finding out more about coaching, just go ahead and post in the Q&A the best phone number and email address, and tag it, if you wouldn't mind, with coaching strategy session versus closing gifts strategy session, just so we know how to follow up appropriately here with you all as you do. If you're interested, again, there's no cost or obligation for the coaching strategy session. It's just something we felt to be the fastest, easiest way to help people understand and appreciate the true value of coaching and what it could do for the acceleration of business growth. The last thing that I wanted to share with all of you, and then I'm going to open it back up again for some Q&A, is I wouldn't be doing my job as a coach if I didn't encourage you to take the final step of putting the idea in action. So I want you to take 2 to 3 minutes here just before you jump back on that next call, or before you follow up and start hopping into your email inbox and getting buried in the reactivity of that inbox messaging. Take a couple of seconds and just answer these 4 quick questions for yourself. What was the most valuable thing you heard in today's program? Nick shared with you 16 different ways to show appreciation. He shared with you 4 solid ways of asking for referrals. I introduced you to a concept of who questions and how to leverage that in the early stages of the transaction. Well, but pick one. Start with one idea that you want to implement first. For everybody on the call, by the end of the week, we'll be sending out a follow-up email that has a link to the video along with the PowerPoint and some additional resource materials that Nick's been gracious to provide. And so just watch your inbox. You can always go back and implement idea number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 later in the week, right? So decide what was the one thing you want to implement first. Secondly, what do you specifically need to do? What action do you need to take to make that idea part of your business on a regular basis? Maybe it is going ahead and jumping in and taking Nick's offer about the strategy session to find out about setting up a strategic gifting program for your business and how to get that in place. So you need to actually post your name and information in the Q&A and take that appointment with Nick to find out how to get set up. Maybe it is practicing the who question and passionate about serving conversation. Whatever that one idea is, what is the next step you need to take to implement that idea? Third is put a date on it. Put a target date for completion. And fourth is find who's going to be your accountability partner. In 1993, there was a university study done by Brigham Young University about what it took to put ideas in action, and they found out that if you did these 4 things, you had a 95% chance of following through on implementing that idea. So what idea do you want to implement in your business? What action do you need to take specifically to make it happen? What is your target date for completion? And who is going to check in with you on progress and hold you accountable to following through? You do those 4 things, and you have a 95% chance of follow-through and implementation. So that's what we want to encourage you to do with everything we've discussed so far today. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, but did want to give you the opportunity to go ahead and post any additional questions that you would like us to answer. Otherwise, Nick, did you have any final thoughts you wanted to share with the group just before we go ahead and kind of close this thing down?
No, not really. I just want to say thank you. And Eric, I had to step out, so if you don't mind just sending me the emails of people that we need to follow up with, or I can do it when I get back to my office. All right, thanks. But yeah, I'll stick around. I'm grabbing some lunch, so I'll hang on the line until if we got any questions.
All right. I know, Nick, you're a very busy man, and you got a number of appointments to attend to. So we'll be following up. And by the way, thank you again for being willing to take your time and share some great ideas with our audience today. It's always a fun opportunity to talk with you as well. And much hopefully we'll be working together much more in the future. But definitely thanks again for your participation and the ideas you've shared with our group today. Folks that are still on the line, go ahead and if you want to post any final questions that you'd like us to address specific to the topic or related to anything else, feel free to go ahead and